do is contact the Red Cross in your area. Request the Red Cross send the message sent to outlining the emergency of the emergency. There are two places that they will have to send them to. If you're Canada Hart, you have a different address. For here, it's the 456 ECES Force Protection Bagram Airfield. It's, in essence, the message goes to the squadron leader. The folks that we work for, Force Protection. They contact us, and then we contact you. There was one thing that I'm going to go ahead and share. If you have a situation and you know that the doctor's going to say that your presence is needed, when you talk to your families, make sure that that's part of the message, because that's critical in allowing us to release you to go home for the emergency. They may or may not put it in there. Depends on your doctor. I'm not your doctor, but the doctor who's associated with the care of one of your family members. Okay? Make sure you get this, write this down, get a copy of it or whatever you need to do, because this is critically important. I almost had to leave this week. My mother was in the hospital. She got out Friday, and I almost had to go through this procedure right here. You want to make sure you know how to do it, and that's it as far as contact. Let's talk about the qualifications for emergency leave. Emergency leave may be granted in the event of a serious health condition or death of an immediate family or your spouse's immediate family. For purposes of emergency leave, immediate family is defined as spouse, child, parent, brother, sister, grandparent. Okay? Those are the only ones. Now there may be some special circumstances where if you were raised by an aunt or an uncle or something like that, you know, that can be considered. But as far as URS policy is concerned, spouse, child, parent, brother, sister, or grandparent. Emergency leave must be authorized by the country's site manager in Afghanistan. That's Tony or Morgan. Emergency leave must be, the flights for emergency leave, we can arrange those flights for you. All right? Or they can be arranged by Stacy. All right? Let's talk about payments during emergency leave. You go out on an authorized, and I say authorized emergency leave, the maximum you'll be paid during this period of approved emergency leave is 40 hours at straight time. That means whatever your hourly pay rate is for 40 hours, not at the uplifted rate. The in-country project manager in Afghanistan may authorize additional leave days without pay, LWOP, not to exceed 30 days. But you need to send it to them in writing. Okay? You need to send them an email, you need to get on the phone, you need to get it verified, because if you don't get it approved, then you could probably risk disciplinary action up to including termination for job abandonment. You just can't disappear. And if you're really caught up in your situation at home, have somebody, let somebody know that, hey, if I get caught up too much, I need to contact my site manager, my program manager, or my HR manager, so that we know what's going on. So the last thing we want you to do is to get into a situation where you go home on emergency leave, you get caught up with what has to be done. If anyone's ever had to go through the changes of burying a loved one, it's a highly emotional situation, and you can lose track of time. And we don't want that to happen. Okay, let's talk about reimbursement of emergency leave. Once you go home and take care of your personal business, when you come back, you need to bring some supporting documentation. I.e., we need a death certificate. We need something that says that you were there for your emergency. We're going to need a death certificate. So if you're involved in it, you need to tell whoever's handling the arrangements to get you a copy. Because that's how you're going to be reimbursed. Everybody understand what I mean when I say that? Okay. In order to get emergency leave, you have to be here in theater at the time of the emergency. Follow me? In order to get reimbursed for any money that you might spend on plane tickets and that kind of stuff. The employees must be in theater present and present the documents within 30 days upon return to theater, unless prior written excuse is granted by the country site manager in Afghanistan. Everybody understand that? This will be up on the bulletin board. I encourage you to get a copy of this and keep this with you. You know, don't take the copy that we have up on the board. Just say, hey, you know, Stacy, would you mind? Yes, sir.
You might want to put like an email address to someone that they could just email a attachment.
Yeah, we can do that. We can name that too. Okay. Any questions or comments about the emergency?
So if you do, let's say it's a parent and they're gonna have open heart surgery, you wanna be home, it's an emergency, they think it's wise for you to be there, but they don't expire.
Oh, it's no problem if they don't, you know. It's a great thing if they don't expire.
But you said you need to.
Yeah, if they happen to pass.
Yeah.
But if you get a Red Cross message and the doctor says your presence is required, that's the key word. Your presence is required.
Okay, so
Now,
that's all you need then for substantiation.
When you come back, then you bring the documentation. Well, here's where they had open heart surgery, they come through the flying colors. I didn't get my inheritance, but can I get my reimbursement?
Okay. Any questions around emergency leave procedures? I would encourage you to take a copy of it. Last week there were some questions around education, tuition reimbursement. If I don't see him sitting in here, one of the word means to death. Where is he at? No, he's not here. There he is. I have the everything you ever thought you might want to know about it, and I'm going to go through a couple of things around education reimbursement. I pulled off the policy, so I'm reading straight from what URIS is stating. And the application process, I'm going to cover in a second, but I'm going to cover the covered areas. Education assistance is limited to tuition and fees required by the educational institution, excluding textbooks, building enhancement fees, parking fees, supplies, social dues, athletic fees, computer access charges, and refundable fees. Credit courses from accredited colleges and universities are the only educational courses that are currently being reimbursed by URS. When I mean accredited, I mean Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, Northern Association of Colleges and Schools. You can't go to 2 Point University and get reimbursed for your classes. It must be an accredited institution. If I understand what I mean? That means ITT Tech doesn't count. That means, well, the Bride's accredited university. Yeah, they offer a semester program, but you understand? You can't go take classes from unaccredited universities. Here's a couple other caveats to that. The courses must be directly related to the position which the employee is currently working or may reasonably be expected to work within URS federal service. So, you're in force protection, IT courses would not be considered a stretch, because most curriculums for degree programs have something along the lines of IT or computer technology, that kind of thing. What you can't take is, you won't be able to take carpentry or drafting or any of the trades. We don't have any vehicle in place right now to support your taking those kinds of courses. Okay, let's go back to the first page. We're going to talk about the application process. In order to be eligible for education reimbursement, you must be working with the company for a minimum of 6 months. That's the first hurdle. You complete the educational assistance form, which we have now available in the office. Stacy can print one off for you. Obtain your approvals and signatures. First level of approval is right there. Tony or Morgan has to approve it. Next level of approval, look at it. And the next level of approval is Tony's and Morgan's boss. And then it goes to HR. But you can't be you have to pay for the course up front. Then submit it to us for reimbursement. And the last piece is you provide a proof of payment, provide a grade report or transcript from the school indicating successful completion of the course. You must make a C or better. They don't reimburse D's. Okay? And D's are typically not transferable in most universities. They don't transfer into D. You gotta pass the class, all right? If you happen to be receiving financial assistance from another source, some of us may be veterans and may be receiving GI Bill benefits. The only amount that will be reimbursed is any amount over and above what your GI Bill is reimbursed. So you can't double dip. You can't get tuition assistance from URS and then go back and get your VA, and no double dip, right? Yeah, sorry, but I tried. That includes grants, scholarships, fellowships, veterans assistance. The one thing that you want to know, I want you to pay attention to is that the employee is responsible for reimbursing the company 100% of the educational assistance funds received if he or she voluntarily terminates employment with the company within 12 months of the date of the actual payment of the educational assistance fund. If you leave before you have 1 year, completed 1 year service with the company, you're going to have to pay that back. They're going to take that out of your check. Okay? If you voluntarily leave, you're going to have to pay that money back. So there, as with most organizations, there's an expectation that there will be some return on any monetary investment. All right, I think that's enough of education and all that kind of good stuff. I have the policy. You're welcome to stop by, and we can walk our way through if that's something that you would desire to do. 401k. Everyone who processed through Florida, you received at least a short briefing on 401k. Anybody here that didn't get any information about it at all? I believe that was part of your onboarding. If you are interested in doing some other things around your 401k, I have the tools that you need to go ahead and do that. All right? Just going through the old ones. I don't think that we have any open items. When I looked at this, all the items here that you brought have been addressed and closed. That being said, Tony, you got anything else? Before we go to open forum?
No, sir, do you, Bernard, you guys want to go out there before we open the house?
But you're ready.
You're ready?
Okay, this is open forum. This is your opportunity to present your issues. We prefer them to be of a global nature, but it's your time.
Anybody got
Anything
anything
you want to talk about tonight?
Looks like I'm busted, don't it?
Accurate, baby.
I got 3 things.
Okay.
Item 1, IVs. IVA is what you guys call it.
Yep.
Is property of this company now, right?
Nope.
So it's transferred
Nope.
in?
Nope.
It's not.
I'm gonna do it in the
So therefore, you don't have a property book that you're controlling on it? Because that's what that letter says, we're turning it into you as a property book item.
You can turn it into us as a means of turning it back into the government.
It's a custody exchange.
It's a custody exchange, that's what it is, not a property.
Right.
A custody, exchange of custody. We need a letter from you saying, all right, I'm gonna turn this into WGI. And we're gonna take your letter, signed letter, when we take all of this stuff back, whenever this thing is over with, and the chain of custody will be your stuff. And we'll take it back, it's your letter saying it's okay for us to take your stuff back.
Okay, second question. This contract, or the new contract, will end May 2012.
Correct.
There's nothing beyond that, right?
There is, when you say nothing beyond.
As far as this.
As far as this particular contract, there was a 1 year
I
start
understand
and
that.
1 year. At this time, no.
Okay, now here's my question. If we have a 12-month commitment from the time we get here, and we get here, let's say July,
Okay?
next time we sign employment agreements in July, there is no way we can make the 12-month requirement to pick up the $5,000 bonus.
It will be prorated, sir.
But how can we
When I say-
claim an income of $60,000 on this contract if we cannot possibly obtain that $60,000?
You didn't, no.
You didn't work the year.
You didn't
You
work the
don't
year.
entire year. If you don't work the entire year, it's 60,000
Based
per
on
year.
12 months.
Based on the 12 months, so if you don't work the 12 months, then the rest of it's prorated for the months that you.
But what I'm saying is physically impossible to work that 12 months to a $60,000 contract. Should that contract read 60,000 like this contract?
Well, it will not read, it will not read 60,000. It will read that you are paid. Huh? I won't go ahead and finish this. It will read that you receive an hourly rate based on the number of hours that you work, 2 hours maximum. And you raise a very interesting point in that your employment agreement states that the minimum number of hours that we have to work you is 40 hours. Okay? It's not mandatory that you work 72 hours. So unless you work 72 hours and work all the time you're supposed to without any additional days out and that kind of stuff, you should make pretty close to that amount. But your employment agreement does not say $60,000. That's my point. It says you're paid at an hourly rate of this plus an uplifted rate of this.
But it also says that after a 12-month period, you get paid $5,000 bonus.
Can I say just one thing? As we were winding down in Iraq, and we would sign our next year contract, the contract actually read up to 12. You weren't signing a actual 12-month contract, up to 12 months. If we go 10 months, then you'll get 10 months worth of safety.
So these new employment agreements will not give us a 12-month mandatory requirement then?
No.
Okay.
It will say that it will have a 12-month employment agreement. And when in terms of mandatory, it does, your employment agreement is separate from the contract. And that's the piece that you really need to understand is that your employment agreement, most people in here kind of got that. You got the contract between URS and the Airfield. And then you have the employment agreement, which is the relationship between the employee and the company. They're two separate items.
I understand this, but I also understand that if we're looking for a 12-month commitment from the employee, and that commitment cannot be made,
We're looking for up to.
yeah, because this employee agreement does not say that. As you brought up, and as the writing brought up, it is a 12-month commitment. If this next one says 12-month commitment, there is no way that you guys can back
I
that.
guarantee you it doesn't. I wrote it.
Okay, do you have a question, John?
Well, I was going to make a statement, you don't know at the end of 2000, whatever, if there won't be an extension. And if there is, then you got your 12-month commitment.
And I'm just trying to get some questions that were brought up, and I'll let people get their
Yeah,
answers.
I understand.
Now, the last thing.
Oh, Lord. Come on down.
Well, this is gonna be simple.
Okay.
We had this class today.
Yeah.
They talked about searches.
Uh-huh.
When are we gonna get some gloves? Those latex gloves or
Those
something?
latex gloves?
So we're not running our hands through stuff we really don't want to.
Mirrors, latex gloves.
Yeah.
Asking for him, how's that?
Good answer.
You know, the thing about it is, when I was out there searching, I bought my own gloves. But we're not gonna require you to do that. We're gonna ask corporate to please send us their gloves to Albert to serve.
Not just
No,
me.
not for you, but that was, I should have said like that.
First
Ron
thing-
does everything he can to get as much equipment for all of us as he can possibly beg them to send us.
Now, until this class came up, did I even bring it up?
Oh, that's not a
No,
problem.
just class.
But no, and then this was a good class, and the young lady giving class, she did say it's a good idea to wear gloves.
Yep.
Okay, if my employer doesn't happen to have any in stock, or doesn't have any, I'm gonna not buy me a pair of gloves. Because I don't wanna run my hand up under there and not get something sticky, or get my finger cut off, or grab a bone.
Well, we have the work gloves that were issued, you know, that would be my
They're
preference
tight
to wear
gloves,
those.
and
But,
use them.
the latex gloves are available, just ask.
He has some latex gloves.
Now, did you say bomb or bomb?
No, nothing. Nothing. Let it go. Let it go.
I am, it's just where you pronounce the word bomb.
No, let it go.
Mr. Cook, did you have something, sir?
No,
You had your hand up.
I had both up.
Moss, did you have your hand up?
Yes, sir. I just had a question. I heard a rumor that WGI, something happened there no longer, and we are now fully under URS. Is that a fact, or is that still rumor?
Rumor.
Okay.
Rumor. Any more rumor control this week? All right. Yes, sir.
I heard we were getting like a $50,000 rate now.
Follow this guy.
Yes, sir.
Housing, we were told back in December, well, forget about what we were told, because we've been told about different things. Any projections on moving, if we are, when we are, and where we might be moving to?
Not sure, yes.
We're still rumored with a lot. They're still telling us that this will be WPI compound in the near future. It's been the near future for a long time. But Eric, just to answer it, I don't know.
Okay, that's a good
They're
answer.
getting closer and closer to opening the RLBs over here. Once they do that, they're gonna move the military out of there. That's not gonna open up enough housing for us to move all of our people out the doors over here. But, we're planning day by day on that housing situation.
Since I've heard that broken the water main over one of these units, and that's why we have it. We're just tenants of the sidewalk.
Yeah, and that's where you put the lights out there.
I thought the lights were for targeting.
All the ladies told us that they were moving, the military ladies said they're moving them out at the end of this month.
End of this month, that's this week.
Yeah, they said they're moving in, that's some of them.
Ma'am?
We talk about work-related issues on the sites. We don't know ins and outs, respect and disrespect.
Can't hear it.
Because we talked about it, we've talked about it, we've talked about it, but it hasn't been addressed. Nothing has changed, and it's getting older.
Can you please give us specifics?
As far as the monitor lead, addressing some of the personnel out in the field, I don't tell anybody to do anything, because I'm not your mother or your father, and I'm not your babysitter. But I ask you to do your job. And if you can't do it, then we have a problem. Now, I don't expect you to rip and run or whatever, but if I ask you to do something, common sense tells you just go ahead and do it. But people don't want to do it. They're, like I said, they go to the site lead. You know what I'm saying?
So if I'm
And you gonna turn
understanding
your back on me and, you know,
If I'm understanding you, when you provide directions for work, certain employees have decided that they won't follow your direction.
yeah, I don't know, but like I said, I don't know if it's just me or if it's just an issue as far as mine, so that I can
They
speak
go
on my
around
end.
the monitor lead and go to
And do their own thing.
oh, okay, all right.
I even got the comment today, I didn't work for you.
Okay, let's.
Yeah, right, you don't work for the, you don't work for us. You work for the company, we're just.
Before I do this, I need to take a poll before I respond to this. How many people have been here 90 days or less? Okay. All right. 3 months. 3 months. Let's say you got here in January. How many people are in this room tonight that arrived in December or before?
December and before.
December and
More than 90 days.
All right, so we're looking at about 50%. Some of you old timers, for lack of a better word, have seen some really ugly things. Some of you new folk have seen some really ugly things. All right, we're moving forward. We're better than we were in December, from my perspective. But then again, I have a different set of eyes that I can. All right, let's talk about this disrespect. If you're running a business and you give someone the direction to do some work, and they turn their back on you, and say things like, "I don't work for you." Everybody in this room works for this, URS. And those who feel it necessary to disrespect those who are providing direction to them, you need to check yourself. You really, really, really need to check yourself. Because, and it's not, this is a promise. This is a promise. I promise you that that type of behavior is going to be dealt with severely.
That being said, did you do make a statement or write up on the person that told you that?
Yes.
You did, and you turned it into us?
Not yet.
Okay. That's gonna be the procedure, guys. We're all a good family, we all work great together. And as the staff, the management, we put people out there that are in a supervisory role. And we expect you to follow their directions. Now, the way it's happened in the past, one of the monitor leads might say, "I'm gonna post you here." And if you run around and go to the site lead and say, "Hey, I don't wanna go there, can you put me somewhere else?" Ain't gonna work anymore. If your monitor lead posts you somewhere, then it'll be posted there. And if you leave your post and say, "Well, you know, my site lead told me I could leave," but you didn't check out with your monitor lead, then that is gonna end up in a disciplinary action. guys, if you're working in the United States flipping burgers and you got the head burger flipper, and he tells you to do something, you're gonna do it or you're gonna be fired. You know, and we're not gonna, I didn't even wanna say the word fired.
No.
But you will be disciplined.
Yeah, there will be disciplinary action. And woe be unto those that directly confront.
And some of our monitor leaves is certain ones that sit down all day, sit in a bed, and there's certain ones of us that's always moving around and doing it. Some of them don't say anything to those people that's sitting around and doing nothing. That should be addressed too.
Put it on.
Exactly.
That should be
Bring it to our attention.
Because it's too
And
much
same
of
as
that.
Mr. Converse is gonna bring me,
Put it on paper.
I want you to put it on paper also.
Put it on paper. Yes, sir.
A lot of people, you know what I'm saying, believe they're not intelligent and snitching on somebody, they try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we all grown and it's like common sense what you need to do, so
Exactly.
we shouldn't have to be going and telling them, try to get people in trouble, be like, man, just do your job.
Now, you
That's
know what?
right.
You know what I'm saying? So-
That's right.
No,
It's the monitor leads that should be taking care of that. We should, us as workers, we should, because we don't want to babysit either. But it's certain ones of us, we're always doing or moving, and there's certain ones that sitting there doing their own thing, and we can bring it up to the monitor lead, and they still don't say that, well, you know.
Put it on
Okay,
paper.
but we don't want to be babysitting.
That's one reason we put our civilian Ben out there. Now, he's gonna be a go-between between the monitor leads, the monitors, military veterans, the drivers, everyone out there. He's gonna be our on-site supervisor, so to speak. And Ray's gonna, you could tell that to Ray. You could have told that to Ray. And then we'll handle it right then. You don't have to wait. You come in here that night, and by then maybe you're saying, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna write, no, I'm not gonna put no paper on. I want it brought to them. Jamie, you can go to Ray. You can say, here's what I don't like. You're not snitching. You're not, I mean, if you're gonna do a job and Aaron's not, you gotta cover for it. You gotta pay his weight. So if you say, well, you know, come on, Aaron, stand up. That's not snitching. That's, you're doing your job, everybody else should do their job. They should carry their weight. Do you agree?
I agree.
Do you agree, Margaret? We're all grown men, we're all individuals, the majority of us are.
We have 14 more months. Some of you will may be here at the end of that 14 months. Some of you may not. The only two, right now, I only know of 2 people in this room that I know will be here, and that's him and me, and Morgan. There may be something, you may get another opportunity. It's the nature of the contracting game. But while you're here, doing what you're paid to do, keep the noise level down. I'm really looking forward to 14 more months of
Your smiling faces.
less and less aggravation.
Does URS cover psychological help?
We got a good question.
I know that we share in the because I know we share with the military, I'm aware of that. But again, I just can't seem to understand that it's getting worse and worse for the places being clean over there. See water bottles, you got sweet stuff poured into the rocks, you got paper all on the ground. I mean, I don't do rats, I don't do snakes, and I don't do flies. And those are, all those items are limitations. And I can't figure out why we can't take, and address the issue by keeping it a little bit cleaner. You know, it's getting worse. It's hard.
I agree with you saying. Once you start seeing them snakes, I promise you, they will get your attention. Just gotta, everybody lives in the big huts. If you don't believe me, I got a picture of it. Yeah, I know.
No, and then that's the problem. There's other contractors. But if I go up along there and I see a big piece of trash, I don't mind picking it up. You know, I mean, We got a lot of our people that are just that way, don't mind. Hell, I just go down, I ain't figured it out.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a quick question to the lady in Cadillac. Is there any way that they can start cleaning with the leaves everything around the whole bathroom? It's starting to come with mold. And it's
We have a lot of mold.
We had a lot of mold and it's nasty.
You talking about, yeah.
Yeah,
In the
it's
shower.
the shower. Toilets are broke.
Yeah, we
Do what we
Yeah,
Yeah,
get me
first
one
order.
time and pizza.
I mean, I'll give you bleach to clean that, no
Me
problem,
too.
but it's very nasty.
But you could have a good old fashioned GI party and about once a week go in there and, you know, bleach it down.
I spray it down with my own stuff. but
Spray it down.
I clean up
It's
every
a-
room.
I think that's a wonderful idea. We get cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
This now, and Ron and I are discussing this, we have asked again of the military, they say it's contractual cleaning, they're not gonna supply us. We are now gonna buy all of the cleaning material that we need, correct? And, hopefully tomorrow, we wanna do it today, as Ron is busy.
The contractual though is in the bathrooms. What about the hallways and that we're trying to clean? That's not contractual. And they have no
No,
supplies
that's
for
again
that.
where we're talking about if you can see a piece of trash, pick it up. You know, if you walk down that hallway and it's dirty, that's okay.
Some of us sweep it.
Most of these guys do.
Jamie does it.
Yeah, Jamie
That man
does
does it right there.
Yeah, so do I.
Steve's over there quite a bit cleaning that place up also.
But the thing is when you have to come all the way over here and then truck all the way over there, just find a broom and a dustpan?
I think it's no back in that corner there.
Yeah, it wasn't the other day. It was over there.
Well, we'll try to get, they got a question, closet over there, broom closet.
More questions? Jamie, you got a question? Oh,
Is there any way I can order like some dust mops or something, man? It'd be a whole lot easier cleaning up over there than just a regular old push broom. It takes forever with a broom.
Ronnie, we'll see what we have available. If not, we could probably order some from Walmart.com.
Yeah, I just want you to reiterate change of man out there in the sites. In other words, the reason why I say that, you're monitor leads and you want to respect yourself. But if you don't go through the lead, which is military, and get them the first stab at it, or you do something kind of off the wall, your peers are going to call you. And I'm not saying those people license. But give these leads, I know some of them is new, train them up properly and utilize them first so both of you can make the decision. So we won't see favoritism. And I think that's the problem that we're having. It's not that I'm going to disrespect this individual that individual. But if you're, showing that like and dislike, I'm going to use that again. I hope you don't take that as, again.
When you say you like and dislike the judge?
No, that's not what he's saying.
But, my buddy over there is hardly. It's not, that's been going on ever since the beginning of the time. Okay.
we trade.
But give these ladies and gentlemen as, lead, the benefit of the doubt.
And then
Sometimes when you get a call over the radio before the lead answer, the monitor makes the decision. And you don't go back to those guys or girls and discuss it. And we see this. And you want the respect at the same time. I would do the utmost to keep respect between us. But when you do things off the wall, it's leadership mind catching the heart. And I don't need that title to make our own spots like you. Get all bent out of shape. Run here and cheese on us, we don't cheese back. It's just that simple. But I'll do it with pen and paper. That's just the way I thought. But give those guys, those benefit of the doubt before you make the decision. Are we good?
Chris? I got you. Here.
But I would like to have him with Mr.
But no, I would like to add on what Mr. Terrell was talking about. It is communication. And I mean, it is clarity. I mean, that's all I really have to say. But honestly, that's what should be worked on, period. I don't have to send it.
And the communication and the clarity is what we're gonna say. The military is our plan. We work for the military. Ray is our civilian middle. Under him comes our monitor lead. Under that comes our monitors. That is the chain of command that goes up before you go to them, to the side lead. Yes.
Yes, I've been here 40 days now today, and I just want to know when I expect to get my bonus check.
Your bonus should come, you've been there 20 days?
40 days.
40 days?
40 days.
All right, here's how you figure that out. Look at your calendar. If your 30th day fell in the first week of the pay period ending, it's gonna be 2 weeks before you get it. If your 30th day fell in the second week of the pay cycle, you should have got it. Now, if you're saying you're 40 days, I'm gonna say your 30th day ended in the second week. So I'm gonna say, I would be willing to bet you get it this week.
Next pay.
The next pay period. That would be nice. That's the way you can figure your bonus out. If your day ends in the first week, then it's gonna be that pay period. If it's the second week, it's gonna be the following pay period.
So come see us tomorrow about that. I got one final thing. Okay.
Is it possible that corporate can send a copy of everybody, not everybody, but people who become a new position? Can they send a copy of that and you can place it on the board on everybody's position, like building?
The chain of command.
Speaking of, working on that right now.
That's exactly right. He's working on all of that.
And it's coming from corporate, right?
No, it comes from me.
Really? But I thought if you.
I got 2 points of information for people.
Let me let you
I thought when you become a different position, or that it comes from corporate, so you saying it's coming from here in this office?
When you say
from
new position,
HR?
are you speaking to someone getting promoted or something?
Yeah, promotion.
No. All of that comes from here. You apply on virtual edge for the position, but the decisions around promotions and then all that. Oh, yeah.
Here?
But Dina, if you were here when we opened up the last 2 positions, which was, we did on the
I'm
Monday
just
night.
curious.
Yeah.
I'm just curious the paper.
But this guy, Ray, is interim. He's an interim civilian minimum. Victor Stevens that we put in as a monitor lead is interim.
Okay.
And I made the announcement right here, those positions are open for
Okay,
any one of you to apply for.
Okay, no problem. I just like to see it
Right.
from corporate.
What happened to that?
Because usually it comes from corporate.
You look at that.
That's true. Okay, I got 2 points of information, only information. People, these red top bags you see hanging around these poles here, don't mess with them. I had to run off an Army guy who thought it was great fun to poke holes in them. Those are fly and mosquito traps. They draw them in and they kill them. The liquid in there is sweet to draw them in. But somebody seems to think it's great fun poking holes in them and other things. You see anybody, stop them. Second point, anybody who's working out 36 outfit, when the porta potty cleaners come in, and you know who they are, watch them. 3 times I have had to warn that young man about driving his vehicle away from us standing there while we're watching too, driving the vehicle up to 100 yards away, and had to call him back. I told him the next time it happens, he's going out the gate. If that man does it again to any of you, call him down, grab his card, and escort him and call security forces. Because he is trying to get away.